Hello ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to AirsickHydra, and in this video we're going to be doing some GM prep for an upcoming sandbox area the player characters are currently headed to. Now, full disclosure, a lot of the inspiration for this video, for this area, right over there, which looks amazing. That is my map actually, but anyway, a lot of this is taken from a 2nd edition book, Kazak, which is on DriveThruRPG right now. I don't get any commission for it, I have no interest in selling it other than I think it's very good. If you're interested in dwarfs and you like reading just stuff about dwarfs, it's awesome. There is also a source book that's a little bit older, but this is really top banana when it comes to giving you a sandbox area and lots of characters and goals and a setting. So that's what we've done, is I've taken maybe about a fifth of this area and combined it into a small town where I'm going to be running a sandbox-ish adventure. So obviously going to be a limited sandbox. We're going to be in a outpost in a mountain in the Grain Mountains, which is going to mean that the player characters aren't just going to go off for a walk. So that's quite nice for me as a GM. I can prep lots of stuff going on here. Now, there may be some spoilers in terms of plot for the upcoming campaign. However, we don't know what the characters are going to do. So it might even be more interesting for you if you know some of what's happening to then think, well, how are the players going to interact with that and how's Hydra going to address this? And I don't know because I'm still learning the craft, but I think it's going to be good fun. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make some notes for these characters, and perhaps even this will help you planning your own sessions, your own campaign, or maybe even this video could be useful for you running the same sandbox area. So this is a map I've cooked up earlier. This is Kazak Grom, meaning Old Defiant Mountain. Why is this old and defiant? Well, it's defiant because the lower levels and the lower mines in particular were lost to greenskins some years ago, and the dwarfs have been struggling to capture it back because it's only a small place. There's 100 of the dwarfs, or maybe 200. We haven't figured that out yet, haven't counted them all yet. And it's overrun with greenskins down there. There's also other horrors too. Trolls, undead, Skaven, mutants, a bit of everything. If anything, it's more like a war zone down there. However, there are valuables. There is a very well-to-do gold mine, gems, you name it, anything valuable and incentive. There's a lot of dead adventurers down there too that have previously gone down to try and reclaim it and have since been slain or not returned, and therefore, presumably down there, are the corpses of about 100 adventurers, including their gear, their loot. Some of them went down sporting pistols. There was even a gentleman last week with a Hockland long rifle. Ooh, quite like to go and get that. Shiny and expensive. So the entirety of the town is geared up around the trade of allowing adventurers down there in order to try and recapture this zone for the Dowie. Why are they doing this? Well, again, they lack the manpower to do it themselves, but this main theme is what runs this place. It's what a lot of things revolve around. We're going to start off with what I think is a very nice hub, and I think every area should have one of these. We'll have a nice green marker around the miner's bounty. Now, we're not going to name this lady yet, because I really think naming all these individuals right now is just going to give you a headache. And don't worry, it's not quite as bad as it looks. There's a lot of PCs, and a lot of NPCs rather, but it's not too bad. The miner's bounty is basically going to be a gossip hub. So we're going to bring up the miner's bounty. We're just going to name it that now. Miner's bounty. It's going to be friendly. It's going to be friendly. It's going to be where a lot of the miners go after a day's work, and it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. It's going to be expensive. There's going to be great food. It's going to be a wonderful place to be. But it's also going to be very hot on gossip. The owner in particular. Goal is gossip. Figuring out what's going on in the town. The person running it in particular is going to hint at quests. That's mainly what's going to happen. Now, what could happen from this is if she knows something she shouldn't, then maybe she could get herself in trouble, or maybe she will find out something and then tell the PCs that and need help. Maybe she will get in trouble, realise she's in trouble and need some help. So, events, trouble for knowing too much. Dun, dun, dun. Or just giving quests. Okay, so that's the miner's bounty covered. We'll go through in a moment exactly what she knows. Let's move down to the supply shop now. So the supply shop is going to be a general trading outpost. It's going to be selling all sorts of wares to those heading down in the ruins, and these are going to be good quality dwarven items. You're probably thinking, hang on, that chap there doesn't look much like a Grundella. Well, that's her son. She does a lot of the front counter stuff. He deals with a lot of the armory. It's going to sell good quality things. So what I'm thinking in terms of mechanics is I'm going to give everything he sells is going to be high quality. So it's going to have one positive quality on it. There'll be a mixture, and I'll randomly roll to see what they are, but they're also going to be expensive, let's face it. But they're made by a dwarf, and they're going to be nice and reliable. Maybe instead of being 200% cost, it'll be 180 because, well, it makes it a more interesting place, quite frankly, rather than just ordering a good quality item from elsewhere. So, what's interesting about this? Well, aside from the normal wares, they're going to sell some, let's say, enhancements for people going down to the ruins. This could be snuff. This could be something to put a little spring in your step. It could be some madcap mushrooms. It could be anything. But these are only going to be offered if they feel that the PCs can be trusted, as some of these aren't necessarily illegal, but they're not either particularly good for their reputation if others find out they're selling drugs. So we're going to have supply shop. Supply shop is going to be friendly, cautious, particular regarding going down in the ruins. Goals to sell items. That's it. They just want to make money. Events, well, here's some curiosities. They're selling a lot of dodgy stuff, let's say. They're going to be selling some of this dodgy stuff to the Crystal Palace, who we're now going to move to. And the Miner's Bounty is going to be aware of this. They are going to be selling some madcap mushroom concoction to the Crystal Palace, and what this does, and this could be done by Grondella's son without her knowing, or it could be her without her son knowing, this knocks people unconscious, and the Crystal Palace is going to be run by people. It's going to be run by humans, and it's going to be seedy, of course, because we're humans. Well, we can't help it. It's going to be a couple of silver to go in. It's going to be a reasonable price, but this is for many of the adventurers that come here that want a little bit more fun. It's going to be pretty much once you're inside, all you can drink. There's going to be entertainment. There's going to be things you can smoke. There's going to be temptations of the flesh, let's say. And for anyone that is particularly tempted by the flesh, if they're worthy of such a treatment, they will probably have their drink spiked in the back room, just maybe before or after getting their giggity on, who knows. But they will find themselves waking up in an alley. They will find themselves waking up without anything on their person or any memory of the previous evening, thanks to this concoction. They will have to make a test as well to see if they suffer any long-term damage as a result of this. It's punishing, it's Warhammer, hey, it's fair. So this could happen to the players. It could happen to someone who's not the players. They could see it happen. Someone goes into a back room, doesn't come out for a couple of hours, but maybe the woman who he went in there with did come back out. Curious, maybe he's had a nap. Maybe he's just having a very long snooze and sandwich afterwards. Who knows? Maybe they'll see him the next day without any items, just the rags of clothes that he has, or maybe a player character will give in. But either way, this is a potential source of investigation, as the group can then investigate what's going on between here when shady packages are going back and forth between this place. Now, obviously, if they're stealing items, they're going to be selling these items. They're going to be selling these items to another tavern. It's going to be a little bit more seedy than the Miner's Bounty. Miner's Bounty is a reputable place, the Golden Mug less so. It's going to be a gambling house. So, just make sure we got the Crystal Palace covered first. Crystal Palace. Okay, attitude. V-friendly. Sexy. It's going to be a house of temptations. We're going to do our best to try and tempt one of the player characters into losing everything, because serves them right. Goals is to please Renauld. There's going to be a secret Renauldian cult in there. It won't be obvious. Right, and the events. NPC loses items. All of them. Now, these items are going to end up at the Golden Mug. Golden Mug. The Golden Mug, we need to go down here, don't we? Scroll down. There we go. The Golden Mug is going to be friendly and rough. It's going to be a little rough around the edges. It's going to be a gambling house primarily. They're going to take bets on who's going in the ruins as well. a dead pool, basically. It's going to be a case of putting gold on who's going to die. If someone doesn't come back after a week, they're pronounced dead, and you won the dead pool. Congratulations. Or you split the dead pool between those that put the bets, etc. Now, what we're going to have here is a goal. They sell. Naughty goods. Okay, so they're going to sell a mixture of items stolen from the Crystal Palace as well as items taken from the ruins up top. So remember, if something comes out of the... Oh, we've got little green specks. If something comes out of the ruins that is a cultural item, the dwarfs will likely confiscate this. However, maybe if they could smuggle it out some way, if there's a way, the golden mug will buy it. It's risky. If you get caught smuggling something, the dwarfs will likely execute you on the spot. And if the group does head out, maybe there could be someone in front of them that's just made it out, and he could get shot in front of them, just to be a reminder that not a great idea to lie to a dwarf, Longbeard, who's there to make sure you don't steal anything that belongs to his people, which he'll feel particularly proud about. So the golden mug, that's their deal. And of course, the miner's bounty is onto them, because the miner's bounty is where we go for all of this juicy hot goss. They're onto them. That should really be a red arrow here. So what we'll do is we'll do a little bit of red, because she's onto you, and she's also onto you. She knows what's going on. She knows you're up to something. She knows you shouldn't be trusted. Now, what else can we have going on? The barracks and the mining guild. Well, what happens when a bunch of humans go into a dwarven mine and just fumble about with their stuff? Some dwarfs will be less than happy. This will include the miners guild, and this will include the barracks. The barracks are going to be sending soldiers to the mining guild, who are going to then be going into the cave, the mine, which is reportedly safe, sneaking down into the ruins by a secret shaft that's been dug by the mining guild. And they're going to be slaying groups of adventurers and stealing the items. Basically, half of them don't come back. And this is probably why half of those don't come back. Of course, there's horrors down there too. But the addition of a Dwarven Brotherhood, who are dead set against individuals taking their stuff, is a pretty good opportunity to throw a spanner in the works. Now, of course, we now have room for gossip from the miner's bounty. She can see soldiers going into the mines when it's quiet in the town. Why is this peculiar? Well, the mine's reportedly safe. This is one of the safe mines. There shouldn't really be soldiers going in. At least maybe there's a higher quantity than usual of soldiers. This is weird. This is very, very weird. So we have the miners and barracks. Now, as a result of this, they will be hostile. And they will be harbouring some animosity to the group. They won't like people. They'll be like, get out of our mines, go away, go back to wherever you came from. You don't belong here. This ain't your place. Get out. And such. Fine. That makes the humans at least, or the player characters at least, suspect something weird is going on. Perhaps at this point they might be aware of the Crystal Palace, but hey, they're also quite happy that this is going on because it messes with the people that come here. But anyway, an opportunity arises for us here. An opportunity for something unexpected. So we have a hole that's been dug from this mine into the ruins. So now we can have if need be, something to spice things up, an attack on Kazak Grom. We could have an invasion that's pouring out of here. We could have a large-scale fight break out between dwarfs and the player characters. Maybe it could be apparent at this time that the barracks don't really actually try and help them, and maybe even try and let them get overrun by a horde of goblins, a horde of Skaven slaves. Could be anything, but it would be really interesting to see. And I've gone ahead and made myself a map of this encounter of just this portion of the top left and zoomed on in just in case we need that. But took a few minutes to do, nice and easy, and there we go. So we've got that all sorted now. Let's move on. Jewelers Guild and the rest, how do they tie into all of this? Well, there's going to be something else going on too. We don't have any heresy yet. Where is the heresy? Well, the heresy is at the Silver Fountain, where we have an old dwarf that used to be an adventurer who went down to the ruins and came back and is now pronouncing about a rather spectacular god of wealth that he's found. He's going to call it something Dwarven, but we all know it's going to be fairly obviously Slaanesh. So he's going to be a cultist. He's going to hide his skin under a robe, and he's going to do his best to be shy and weaselly. But he is going to be working his charms on whoever he can find, be it the Thane and be it the Jewelsmith Guild. The Jewelsmith Guild in particular will be waddling on over here for sexy parties in the evening. We'll be having a whale of a time spending some of the Jewelsmith's gold. So at the point of that, when the PCs arrive at the Jewelsmiths, the guild can request that it is investigated regarding their leader and where he's been spending a lot of their jewels, because they're a lot poorer than they used to be and no one can figure out where he's going and what he's up to. Well, no one's looked into it yet. Opportunity for the PCs to step in. So the Silver Fountain guy is going to have sexy parties in the evening. They're going to be a lot of fun, and he could even invite the adventurers along. It could just be a sexy party that they go to. Maybe there could be some weird stuff. Whoa. Let's bring that back a second here. Weird stuff like pouring gold onto someone and gilding one of their fingers, perhaps, or one of their toes. It could be something odd like attaching a ring to someone, some weird bodily piercings going on. Something that's like, whoa, this is a little kinky for a dwarf. What's going on here? It's a bit of fun though, and it's an opportunity for fun. And of course the chap at the Silver Fountain is going to be sneaking down into the ruins every now and again and going up to a old statue he found down there and has hidden away, praising it, and of course that's going to be Slaanesh. If the players are of a bad disposition, he may be useful to them at some point, as he will have a secret entrance perhaps under the temple or underneath his home down into the ruins. Could be useful though. So this leaves us with a group of adventurers up here. The group of adventurers up here are basically going to be a useful prompt to the group. They're going to go into the ruins, they're going to find stuff, the Deadpool will be placing bets on them when they go to the Golden Mug. They will come out and praise about the amazing items they've got and rub it in the PC's faces as to how totally awesome it is. Maybe they'll offer their services to go down there with them and offer for an adventure maybe 5 gold. It's a slayer and an ogre. They're not going to be cheap, but hey, could be a bit of fun, could be a nice opportunity. They're not going to be involved in the plots around. They're going to be brand new here. They're not going to be interested. Maybe they'll help defend against a potential invasion on the left, which might or might not happen. It's just something we could throw in if need be. And we have the temple. And we'll finish with the Thane and Dronaz, and then we're done. But this gives us multiple adventures worth, if need be, and a lot of fun, hopefully. So the temple is going to be a bunch of priests. Healing, war, and dwarf. That's basically going to be the 3 themes. Don't worry about naming everything right now. You can look up stuff in the books if you need. We're going to have a human healer. We're going to have a fighting trainer from somewhere, and a dwarven priest who's there worshipping all the mining Grungnir and all of that. These guys won't be too involved in the plots, although they will have some thoughts. The healer won't particularly like people going in the ruins because everyone keeps coming back wounded. It's not great, and people keep getting hurt. She doesn't like it, and maybe she realizes that a lot of people have been fewer and fewer people have been coming back, so she can give the group some gossip. The fighter will probably not care much. He's not involved in the dwarfs. He will not be involved in the Crystal Palace either as a place of such pleasure. He will be a recluse and stick to himself. The dwarf will be, let's say, as an associate of the mining guild. He also may not be particularly pleasant toward the PCs, but maybe he's unaware of what a portion of the mining guild have been up to, and he could give a quest to go and investigate what's going on with the mining guild, because maybe he feels that they haven't been particularly honest recently. Maybe he can be suspicious of them. Now, as well as that, I think it makes perfect sense for our Thane to also be a little bit suspicious of the mining guild. He doesn't have any proof currently that what's going on there is out of the ordinary, but he's noticed that one of the mines is no longer producing. One of them is, and the other is not. And he doesn't know why. And he's tried having a snoop around, and he's not had any joy. The lawkeeper's gone in there, couldn't see anything out the ordinary. So he needs the group to go and investigate. And if the group go and investigate, they can go in there. Maybe there can be an altercation with the dwarfs. Maybe there could be an altercation with something coming up from down below. Maybe not. But he will perhaps offer that to them. He is mainly going to be there, though, to interact with Elise, who is a lawyer, and she has come here to settle something and try and sort out. I don't want to go into too much detail because it relates to the master plot, but she's going here to mainly talk to this guy, so those two will be preoccupied for the best part of a couple of weeks. Lastly, we have Clan Dronaz, and this is my own clan who are, I say my clan, they're mentioned elsewhere, but they are connected to the Steinhagers back where my campaign comes from. They will be exporting and dealing with the trade between Moorlandfort and Berghafen, and of course they need a problem. They need an issue somewhere, something that needs addressing. Well, they can also have an issue with the fact that that other mine has not been open, and as a result the specific type of stuff that is produced from there, be it a metal, be it whatever, is no longer being produced. Or they can have an issue with the barracks and suspect them, but not have anything going on here. The Clan Dronaz can be friendly. So if we go down to Clan Dronaz here. Dronaz, friendly trade. They can be pro-exploration. So if anything breaks out between the barracks, Clan Dronaz will come to intervene. So they can be there as an antagonist to help gain support. So what they may do, quest, they can request that the PCs, when they leave this area, actually summon reinforcements from elsewhere. They would like more people headed here. Maybe Clan Dronaz will say, spread the word of this place. We need more people like that Dwarf Slayer, like that Ogrin to come along and help us reclaim what is ours down below. They can be a positive, good force here, at least in terms of reclaiming, and they can also act as, if anything goes wrong with the barracks, someone to turn to that seems to be more trustworthy. So they're going to be very friendly, very nice and friendly. Guys, that covers this sandbox adventure. We got lots of things that can happen. We got a sexy kinky party the group could go to at the Silver Fountain. Maybe this could be interrupted halfway through by the Thane and a couple of Lawbringers who decide that maybe it's not such a good idea to be a kinky sex cult, and something happens as a result of that. The Jewelsmiths are going into the Silver Fountain to spend all their money, and, well, someone needs to look into that. The Golden Mugs selling stolen wares. The barracks are going into the mine to kill people down in the ruins. The supply shop is selling drugs to the Crystal Palace, which is then selling the items that they steal after drugging people to the Golden Mug. There's lots going on in this town. So now, hopefully, with a sandbox that's pre-made, we're ready to go and let our adventurers simply explore. The plan will be to present them to the Thane. A conversation will be had. They will be given this map on the way there as well. What I'm doing is I'm giving a dwarf who they'll be travelling with a little bit of a cartography flair, and he'll offer this to them for a few silver and give them a little bit of a tour. The reason being is that then allows them the opportunity to at least think before they go, well, what might be of interest? And what will work well as well is that either the group will stay at the Miner's Bounty or the Golden Mug. So either way, they're going to have something. If they go to the Miner's Bounty, there's going to be lots of gossip open, and there'll be lots of things that the Miner's Bounty might share. If they go to the Golden Mug, the theme may be more on the ruins, but it's really up to the group and a possible source of great adventure, I hope. Guys, have yourself a great day. I hope this video has been useful to you. This is my version of a little bit of GM prep. It's basically just to get everything in my head, make a couple of maps. So I will make 2 for down in the ruins. I will make 2 dwarf buildings and the area up to the left, and then we're just going to see what happens. Any small scale combats we probably won't need a map for, but I might make one of a street as well. None of these will take particularly long. If you'd like any particular videos, although Let me know down in the comments below. Guys, have yourself a great week. I'll see you next time. Take care.